In the headlines, 2 confirmed dead, some still trapped as rescue operation continues in Kano building collapse. 115 killed, over 73,000 displaced as flood hit 22 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo jets off to U.S. for Nigeria's energy transition plan. Away from Nigeria, torrential floods kill 1,100, including 380 children in Pakistan. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ile. Thank you for joining. And now the details. 2 people have been confirmed dead while 6 others hospitalized as rescue operation into the Kano collapse building enters its 2nd day. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that although no one has been found yet, traders say that there are still people trapped inside the rubble.
The rescue operation into this collapsed building has resumed just a moment ago, and although nobody has been found so far, but officials say they are still working to see if they can be able to find the remaining victims that are trapped inside this building. But then the State Emergency Management Agency is saying that it has been speaking with the leadership of the market and that it appears there are no other bodies that are inside this building. But then there is also a sharp disagreement between the officials of the market and then some of the traders here in the market. So generally, some are saying there are no more people inside, but some traders are saying definitely there are people inside, especially those of them who had been rescued, because I was able to speak to one of them who was just rescued, yesterday from the building, who told me that definitely there are other people inside. So we are here, we will keep on watching and see if other people will be rescued from this building.
The presidency said since January, destructive floods have killed 115 persons, displaced 73,379 and injured 277 others in 22 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Quoting the latest data from relevant government ministries, departments and agencies, the presidential spokesman, Garba Shehu, in a statement said that the floods and a heavy downpour had also left about 37,633 houses destroyed. President Muhammadu Buhari, according to the statement, received regular updates on the flood situation and sympathized with all the families affected by the recent incident. The statement further said that federal government will continue to provide needed emergency assistance to individuals and communities impacted by the disaster. The military on Tuesday asked hospitals nationwide, particularly in Kaduna State, to report anyone seeking treatment for gunshot wounds in their facilities to security agencies. Military spokesman Onyema Nwachukwu said this followed the recent firefight between troops and terrorists, where the criminals were overpowered and killed, while some of them fled with gunshot wounds. Addressing journalists in Abuja, he said during the crossfire, the fighting patrol team neutralized one of the terrorists and captured 3 others alive. The spokesman said that the patrol team also recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 27 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition, and 18 motorcycles. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Wednesday departed for the United States of America to seek global partnerships and support for Nigeria's recently launched energy transition plan. According to a statement by the VP's spokesman, Laolu Akonde, the Vice President will meet his American counterpart, Kamala Harris, World Bank Group, and other partners. The Vice President is leading Nigeria's Energy Transition Implementation Working Group on the U.S. mission, with meetings starting from September 1 to promote the plan and secure global support from the U.S. government, private sector, and other developmental partners. Nigeria's energy transition plan, launched last week, is set to need at least $10 billion per annum above business as usual spending for effective implementation. Nigeria will stop importing petroleum products by mid-2023, Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited, Mele Kyari, gave these assurances on Tuesday while briefing newsmen at the State House in Abuja. He said the combination of output from the Dangote refinery and state-owned refineries will ease out importation of petroleum products into the country. Kehinde Amodu has more.
The subsidy regime of the federal government is choking out all benefits that Nigeria should be making as an oil-producing company. The reason is simple. The country's refineries are not working and Nigeria has to import petrol massively. But that story is about to change.
So you can come and see what is happening in Port Harcourt refinery. We will get it back. We will get it back to normalcy. We will run it as a business. As a matter of fact, we borrowed money to fix it. We didn't take petroleum money. We are borrowing money to fix it because borrowers will not lend you money. Lenders, will not give you money except they are sure that you can return it. And the payment for that is tied to the productivity of that refinery. And that means that something must change. And what did we change? We are not going to operate it. We are going to have an O&M mechanism. It means operation and maintenance contractor will run it. We will not run it because that's a basic requirement of the lending.
One of the problems that the NNPCL has to contend with is the theft of petroleum products, which he says all communities across the country are involved in.
But more than anything, and much more difficult to manage is the issue of banders, which cuts across every community, no exception now. In the past, people have always thought that it is between Lagos and Mosibi that you have problem, or between Warrior and Bini, or probably maybe in the east or somewhere. It's everywhere. Wherever our products have gotten to, everybody has now become some form of bundle. And so there's no exception. There is no exclusion. Wherever our facilities pass, this is exactly what is happening. And what we have decided to do is to also make this private. We are building a national reserve company. This is very necessary. It's a requirement of the law. That reserve company will run those pipelines.
On a larger scale, international oil theft is costing Nigeria about 700,000 barrels of oil per day. The group CEO says that the illegal activity is end-to-end, which includes several layers of society and some members of the NNPCL.
We are not just following the list, we are also following the cash. And I can confirm to you this moment that you'll see more things will happen. I'm sure you've heard this statement made by the National Security Advisor. It's not an empty talk. It is real. We mean it. And we know that people are involved. The 122 people that I have mentioned, they have names. We know them. At the right moment, they will be disclosed. But to tell you, beyond this also, not just the small rats that we arrest at the locations, we are going after everyone else. And I can tell you that the EFCC and the NFIU, all of them are on the trail of the cash. So they will find the cash, and they're already finding the cash.
Beyond no importation of petroleum products, the group CEO of the NNPCL believes Nigeria is also on the path to becoming a net exporter of the product by mid-2023. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Nigerians have been asked not to panic over projections by the World Bank that hunger is imminent in Nigeria because of various challenges bedeviling the country. Some farmers believe farming communities have produced enough food and cash crops for domestic and export purposes. In Katsina State, farmers were able to actively participate in this year's farming activities despite the shutdown of many farming communities by terrorists. Abdullahi Ahmadi tells us more.
The World Bank predicts that Nigerians will experience hunger and starvation in the coming year because vast expanses of land have not been cultivated, and so the expected yield will be low. But some farmers disagree with this projection, pointing out that the amount of farm produce cultivated this year will significantly address the sharp increase in the prices of foodstuffs despite all odds. While this may be good news, farmers are blaming high cost of farm inputs and insecurity as constraining their efforts to maintain the tide.
There was a lot of focus on agriculture, and there was a lot of improvement in production of crops, particularly food crops, I don't have the statistics, but it is obvious there is an improvement, particularly with regards to rice and maize. So the country has been able to produce a lot of the food that we eat. At least that is commendable.
Stakeholders are saying sufficient food and cash crops would have been produced if government had done enough to provide incentives and enabling environment for agriculture to thrive. This is coming even as government maintained the claims that they have made sufficient provisions for the sector in their budgetary allocations. The farmers are apparently blaming the government for deliberately exposing them to the sharp practices of those who produce and sell adulterated farm inputs, which they believed is dangerous to plants and human health. It is very important that genuine farm inputs are supplied to farmers, who are now at the mercy of touts and dubious merchants who polluted markets with adulterated farm inputs. On the other side of the coin, many farmers across Katsina State have abandoned their farms for the fear of incessant terrorist attacks. Any attempt to go to farm means you are endangering yourself and exposing your life to danger. If you are lucky enough, your family will be left with no option than to sell your entire farmland and farm produce to pay ransom for you to regain freedom from the hands of your abductors. Farmers are appreciating the current onslaught on the criminals and their collaborators by the security operatives. They want this tempo sustained, expressing the belief that this will provide the enabling environment for agricultural activities to thrive. 2 months deep into the season, if security is restored on the farms, projections of hunger in the country will not come to pass. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how Yankaba Market in Kano thrives. Details of this and more after the break.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. A reminder of our top stories. 2 confirmed dead, some still trapped as rescue operation continues in Kano building collapse. 115 killed, 73,000 displaced as floods hit 22 states and the Federal Capital Territory. In other news, President Muhammadu Buhari says the All Progressives Congress will continue to bequeath strong political institutions by not interfering in elections. The president spoke when he received members of the Progressive Governors Forum led by Chairman and Governor of Kebbi State Abubakar Atiku Bagudu at the State House in Abuja. The President Buhari, citing the outcome of polls in Ekiti State and Anambra, as well as Osun State's indicators of his resolve for the 2023 elections, said that the government will also ensure that Nigerians are not intimidated or humiliated by those in positions or the more privileged. After meeting with the president, the governors met with Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo to congratulate him on his recovery from a serious medical procedure. The governors appreciated him for showing confidence in the Nigerian medical establishment by undergoing the treatment in Nigeria.
We are very proud that, consistent with the democratic traditions around the world and in Nigeria, our party members have been have acted very commendably. We have one of the free and fairest primaries Nigeria has ever recorded. We can only compare it to our 2014 primaries in Lagos, which produced then candidate, but now President Muhammadu Buhari. So we are very proud of our party's conduct, where every aspirant was given a free and fair opportunity. And because that is the case, our party men and women across the country are able to mobilize and participate in showing all party members that they should remain in APC and work for APC and pray that APC continue to govern Nigeria.
There was political tension in Gombe on Tuesday afternoon following the demolition of the office of the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the state. The PDP governorship candidate, Muhammad Jibrin Barde, in a swift reaction, said the move to demolish his office was politically motivated. However, Gombe State Urban Planning and Development Authority, GOSUBDA, said that Barde's office was demolished because the building has contravened development laws. Ibrahim Ismail has more.
This is the office of the PDP governorship candidate in Gombe State, Muhammad Jibrin Barde, demolished by the Gombe State Urban Planning and Development Authority, GOSUBDA. The PDP governorship candidate in Gombe State said he will pursue the matter in a court of law.
We are law-abiding people, and I have told our supporters to maintain so. I have personally now just visited the police commissioner, and we are going to write a formal complaint to the IGP, and at the same time, we will continue to pursue our matter in the courts of law, because we are law-abiding people. What you have seen today, as I said, it reminds me of my days in university. 23 years ago, the words that we used to describe the military, unfortunately, is what we are still using to describe our politicians. Insofar as our politicians will not rise to the defense of democracy, then we will continue to have problems in this country.
Gombe State Urban Planning Development Authority, GOSUBDA, said it acted within the confines of the law by bringing down the building.
This structure, I can say sometimes the 29th of December 2021, they applied for a temporary approval. Temporary in the sense that they wanted to carry out some temporary constructions. And approval was given for the construction of the said temporary structure, hoisting of a flag. But sometimes between the 9th of December to the 5th of March, we discovered that they embarked on permanent construction of structures. They were constructing some permanent structures on the same site. And we issued them with the requisite notices, stop notices and demolition notice. All these were in line with our laws. particularly Section 27.
Some journalists were arrested by the police at the demolition scene, but later released. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust.
Some chieftains of the new Nigeria People's Party in Kano, loyal to Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, have pledged their continued support and loyalty to the party's national leader and presidential candidate, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. The group, led by former lawmaker Kawu Sumaila, also said that they will vigorously support and campaign for all the NNPP candidates in all elections. The group therefore calls on all their supporters in Kano and around the country to remain solid in their new party.
In view of certain unfolding events in Kano, we decided to convene this meeting to restate our resolve to remain as members of NNPP with absolute loyalty and determined resolution to carry the party to success in the forthcoming general elections. In the circumstances, therefore, the meeting resolved that, 1, we, jointly and severally, remain members of the NNPP Kano State Chapter with unshaken loyalty to the leadership of our party leader, His Excellency Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, as well as other party leaders, and determination to carry the party to success in the forthcoming general elections.
Yankaba is one of the largest markets in northern Nigeria where vegetables and other perishable goods are sold. Despite increase in the price of food items and other essential commodities, the Yankaba morning market in Kano still thrive. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin visited the early morning market and now reports.
Kano is commercially viable, and by implications, the people of Kano knows exactly how to do business at any time of the day. This place, for instance, is where vegetable and other perishable goods are sold in Kano. It's called Yankaba Morning Market, which operate at between 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily. This market starts at about 3 a.m., sometimes to close around 9 a.m. At worst, that's if there is no customers. We reach 12 p.m. The Yankaba morning market is largely patronized by restaurant owners, fast food joints, among other households. It's a market supplying vegetables to other markets. The price of everything has gone up because we used to suffer before we get, for instance, cabbage here. Therefore, the prices is not as it used to be. The demand is always high here, but traders say supply is sometimes the problem, leading to increase in price of the product.
You see, I'm here to buy vegetables, but everything is high. Look at rice, look at the cabbage. I do buy a bag of green vegetable at over 3,000 naira. For what? In fact, I'm not voting for anyone this time around.
While the morning market continued to thrive, residents hopes that the high cost in price will significantly reduce across the country. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, street lights ensure that the road is safer and creates efficient movement of vehicles and pedestrians at night. In this report, Kabir Lawal looks at the level of lightening in the Federal Capital Territory and why it is important, particularly in the night.
Lightning is often planned in urban areas to enhance night traffic operations with maximum possible safety, comfort, and convenience. So what is the significance of lightning poles on the edge of the roads for brightening the surroundings? For security reasons, this is no doubt that driver at night without proper street lights can be a very dangerous affair. But while government provides street lights, there are some saboteurs who destroy this very important infrastructure.
Street lights are very important. Number one, to prevent all those hooligans, hoodlums, those bandits, those scallywag, from hiding under the tree or in a dark place. When there is a street light, everybody will be able to see everywhere, every nook and the corner of the roads, so that the bandit will not have access to hide anywhere. That is number one. Then number two, there are some motors. Their street, their full light are not very sharp, not so bright. But when there is street light, whether they have full light or not, they'll be able to see clearly wherever they are going. And by so doing, there will be no any sort of motor accident.
Residents believe that proper lighting, especially at dark spots, will reduce the attack on persons by hoodlums.
There are some criminals that will come and steal some of the things in the street light, and some of them are not working. Instead of the government to check on the place all the time, they will just leave everything dark. Especially in the night, if you watch up, they will be stealing. That is why you see kidnappers everywhere, criminals everywhere, Boko Harams everywhere. It's because of the street light are not working.
A huge number of fatalities have occurred at night as a result of low visibility and poor street light. According to annual and global road crash statistics, somewhere around 1.3 million people die in road crashes every year, which means approximately 3,287 deaths are recorded per day. These numbers are alarming, especially as many happen at night. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from Nigeria, torrential rains and flooding have submerged a third of Pakistan and killed more than 1,100 people, including 380 children. United Nations, while appealing for aid on Tuesday, described the flood as an unprecedented climate catastrophe. Army helicopters blocked stranded families and dropped food packages to inaccessible areas as the historic deluge destroyed homes, businesses, infrastructure and crops, impacting 33 million people. The country has received nearly 190% more rain than the 30-year average in the quarter through August this year. Sindh province, with a population of 50 million people, was the hardest hit, getting 466% more rain than the 30-year average. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms, and don't forget to watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.